There's a house show in Denver on March 19th, and there's an 11-minute Brother Love show segment featuring Roddy Piper, where Piper's going to wind up slapping around and hip tossing you to end the segment. And this is Piper's first appearance in the WWF in 2 years following WrestleMania 3. This is a nice way to introduce him again and get you ready for what's going to happen at WrestleMania 5. This is one of the first times you would have worked with Roddy, right?
This was the first time I officially met Roddy.
Yeah.
Now, I'd spoken to Roddy on the phone, but Vince was adamant that we work together before we go do our deal at WrestleMania. So, everybody had been comparing the Brother Love show to Piper's Pit. And, of course, Roddy was someone that I emulated and that I respected a lot, and I tried to emulate as best I could with the Brother Love show and Brother Love himself. So for me, it was a big thrill personally to be able to work with Roddy. And, Vince was like, yeah, I'm not going to do a Brother Love show. We had a lot of different guests in mind. So I'm sorry about that, Bruce, but, I think I'm gonna do a Piper's Pit. I think I'm gonna do a Piper's Pit with Morton Downey Jr., who Morton Downey Jr. was a talk show host that was, the biggest thing on television as far as
cable. He was the biggest.
My God, he was Shock, Shock TV before there was Shock TV, and my heart just sank because I'm like, fuck, man. In my head, I'm the hottest thing on TV.
Right.
And actually, I was fairly hot at that time. And I'm not going to be in WrestleMania? Shit. This is my idea to do Morton Downey.
Right.
It should be with me. And then, of course, he goes, yeah. And then, of course, the biggest mouth of them all, Brother Love. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be on Piper's Pit. Now it's like it was even cooler than I could ever imagine. When I heard there was a chance of getting Roddy, I was like, oh, hey, man, maybe it could be a guest on the Brother Love show and things like that. To me, it was even better. It was the perfect storm of being on a Piper's Pit. So that was fun. The idea was going out, go meet Roddy, go talk to Roddy, get inside of his head. You guys figure out, what you want to do. And I already had figured out what I wanted. I wanted to do exactly what we did in our part, good, bad, or indifferent. I had fun doing it. It's what I wanted to do. And I told Roddy this, and I had heard about how much Roddy hated people imitating him. So hello, Roddy, nice to meet you, and blah, blah, blah. He said, oh, what do you want to do, son? I said, well, I understand. It's a touchy subject. But if I may, please indulge me. What I like to do is I'd like to go out and basically do a Brother Love show, interviewing you before you come out. And I do you. Oh, you do me, son. That's nice. And he's petting me. Yes, sir. Oh, let me hear how you go, son, or something. And so I do the bit for him. And he's looking at me. Yeah, that's real nice there. And then what do I do? I said, well, then you interrupt, on the third time I do it, you interrupt and basically come out and take over, and you do the same thing to me, where you go to interview me and you take the microphone away from me and you do me. Like, I love you and all this other shit. And he goes, how's that you do that there, son? Yeah, I love you. Yes, okay, yeah. And we just chatted about what ifs, then lay shit out. And then it was like, I said, then, we'll do a little physicality and I'll fucking, skedaddle. And he's like, what'd you have in mind there, son? I said, well, whatever you want to do. So I'll leave that up to you, whatever the fuck you want to do, man. So we talked in generalities, and I went out and I did it. And the only thing that they had, I said, Jack, the third time that I go to do Roddy, interrupt me with Roddy's music. And I said, once I bump out of the ring and once I'm on the floor, hit Roddy's music immediately. And we just went out and kind of just did our thing. Didn't talk about what we were going to do, how we were going to do it, other than I was going to do him, he was going to interrupt, and then he did his thing. And then he whooped my ass at the end.